Welcome, U.S. Virgin Islands Chess Youth Academy players now. Don't forget, guys, if you're watching this and you have checked out my FIDE online videos, and now it is almost Christmas time, and we're getting ready to start our U.S. Virgin Islands Expansion Project for our Youth Academy team. Yes, we have a live chess group team page, and if our president gets you the message, and if you're one of our kids to go and start playing, yes, we will be putting in hours every week, and there will be a tentative schedule coming as well. We will get more into that into detail probably after the new year. Again, you guys will be notified for my youths watching at home. Again, this is your host and instructor, Colin Heim, U.S. Virgin Islands chess operator and instructor, technical support. I'm going to go over with you guys a game now from the FIDE online arena, and this was a rapid game, meaning that it was 10 plus 10, 10 minutes with 10-second increment, and my opponent from Russia rated about over 1900 FIDE ELO rapid chess, okay guys? And we went for this d4, okay, knight f6, c4, and g6. Okay, so knight f3. Sometimes we see knight c3 played instead, but instead in this game we saw knight f3 from my opponent here from Russia, bishop g7 and knight c3. Okay guys, what's the name of this opening? King's Indian Defense. Okay, so this is one of the openings that we expect everyone should know, as it's a main opening. A lot of theory in this opening for many years now. So it's something that we expect, most of us to know and grasp and become comfortable with playing with both white and black pieces. So guys, we have to know how to play opening theories, main lines, novelties. In other words, special moves now, discoveries. And let's see, guys, what your host, your instructor, what did I come up with in this game with black pieces? What kind of novelty did I come up with here? Okay, so let's continue. We have a King's Indian Defense on the board. Very serious opening. It can get very scary for black sometimes, especially if black doesn't know what to do in certain positions. But if white's not careful and makes a few inaccuracies in this opening, it can actually look really, really promising for black to convert a solid win. Okay, guys? So let's follow along here now. The algebraic notation down below, d6, e4. Now look, short castles and bishop to e2. Okay, so knight bd7 and short castles. This is a main line of the King's Indian, modern King's Indian. Okay, and now let's go with e5. Okay, so e5. Okay. So what should white play in this position, or what can white play? What does white normally play? Okay, so bishop to g5. We'll stop here for just a moment. Move 8, attacking the horse here, planted on f6. Well, typically in this position, we will see white either just push or capture. Okay, so the most played in this move is just captures, right? And after captures, queen into d. Now queens are off the board. We see this a lot played in blitz as well as over the board rapid today, guys. So okay, none of that happened in the game. Instead, my opponent went for an interesting move. I don't know how much I agree with bishop to g5 in this position, but okay, we have h6 now. Attacking the bishop, asking, well, are you going to give up the light-squared bishop for an advanced f6 knight? So in this position, guys, in other words, if bishop captures and knight captures, I think black is doing a whole lot better. Here, yeah, white's winning a pawn in the center. But then again, there's always this. Black can plant a rook on d2 square at the second rank forever. So anyway, guys, that's our virtual analysis for the morning, those lines that we just showed. Now let's go to the game. So bishop goes back to h4 and g5. Okay, bishop g3, and now guys, find the star move, g4. G4, aggressive. aggressive on the king side. Now asking a question of that white horse on f6. Knight jumps to h4. And now, with black's turn to move, guys, it's e captures on d4. Okay, so this was played in the game now. Queen captures on d4, and knight to h5. Okay, knight to h5. And notice, actually, how there's a free pawn here. The pawn is not being defended anymore. But yes, the queen actually has to move, guys. It's just a discovered attack on the queen. So the queen is forced to, is forced to move back to d2. Okay, so it's not really a free pawn. Okay, this was a good effort now, capturing on g3, now forcing a recapture. White decides to capture with the h pawn, so h into g3, and knight to e5 and knight to d5. Okay, guys, so I had a really, really long think here. So far, we're 15 moves into this mainline theory, this middle game now we're transitioning into, of this King's Indian. Very, very complicated, obviously. I spent about maybe 6 minutes contemplating a move here. Guys, find the best move without looking at the algebraic notation below. My students now, find the best move for black. Find the best move in the position, and yeah. Okay, it's c6. It's c6, and now there's a reason why c6 is such a big deal later in this middle game. Okay, when we get to the tactics, there's a reason why c6 is so important. Okay, let's continue. Knight to f4. Now, this deadly duo of knights here, yeah, queen g5 was played in the game, and this deadly duo of knights looks really good right here for white, right? Knight on h4 planted, knight on f4, so it looks really good. White looks really good here on the king side, despite double pawns maybe on the g file, but black has a lot of his pieces also active. At any point, yeah, this could actually be played. Right, maybe opening up now this diagonal, b2. Right, that was not played in the game, guys. Instead, we saw queen to g5 as mentioned, okay? And in playing so, guys, queen to g5, we just showed it now, but right, there's a free pawn now on d6. So it's not really the best move recommended by the engine in this position, but my opponent played it anyway. Now my opponent has a pawn. An extra pawn, so material advantage now. Bishop to e6 was the move now, planting that bishop on a good square. No, but knight captures now, and this is actually what I was expecting in the game, guys. F on e6, and now rook to f7. Okay, so don't move the king here, right? Just put the rook up to f7, and there's a reason why rook to f7 is such an important move, and we'll get to that. Also, why c6 was so important. Okay, so horse up, knight to f5. Okay, knight to f5, and find a move that black has to play if he wants to play. If he wants to get some counterplay, and what is the move, guys? It's h5. It's h5, and rook from a to d1 was played by my opponent. Now looking to get more pressure. Hopefully, that d7 square. Maybe not d7, maybe like d6, because rook f7 was why I had played that move, guys, to defend a move like rook to d7, keeping my opponent from getting to the 7th rank, okay? And now h4, guys, sacrificing a pawn. So my opponent took the bait now, g into h4, right? So I played h5, h4 after rook a to d1, and my opponent captured with the g pawn, g into h, and now queen to f4. Queen to f4. And what did white play in this position, guys? g3. Okay, so there was obviously a lot better moves than g3. White is recommended here in this position actually to play the best move, which is now knight to d6. And now there's a lot of pressure on the f7 rook. And obviously now black cannot capture on e4. So that was most likely the best move in the position. However, we still have this, well, there's a couple sacrifices here that black could play, but anyways, we didn't see that in the game. Instead, we saw my opponent play the move g3 now, just attacking the queen, and yes, capturing the e4 pawn is best. And in the game now, we saw knight to d6, but that was one move too late. And now, guys, spot the tactic for black that wins the game here on move 24. Spot the move in this position that wins the game for black. If you can find the move, congratulations. It's a beautiful tactic. There is a check on f3 because g3 was played, and now that allows the knight to get upwards. And either the king has to move or the bishop has to capture, and yes, there is a hanging queen on e6. Remember that pawn that was captured, the second pawn, and that queen is falling. Okay, so this was played in the game, guys. My opponent rated 1900 FIDE ELO, okay? And after this, we saw my opponent continue play. So yes, knight into f7. So just playing knight to d6 one move too late actually cost my opponent the game here. Okay, my opponent from Russia. Just one move too late. Attacking the queen, which appeared like a good move on the surface, but actually cost the game now. Black is just +2. Black has a queen for a rook and 2 pawns, right? So 7 to 9 in terms of points. Now going up +3 with queen to c4. Okay, this was all played in the game now, guys. Let's just finish it. Rook to d2 check, king to f8. And here's the reason why I talked about c6, guys. Why c6 was so beautiful. Had black not had played c6 here, then white would be forking, right, the queen, and white is winning. But c6 is great because now you can just capture, right? And then after pawn captures, right, attacking the queen, now it's all safe and sound. It's finished. Black has much more power in this endgame, okay? So that's why c6, guys, I wanted to explain, well, why I had brought it up earlier. Now I just explained it, why c6 was so important. And that's exactly the reason why. Because if king was always recapturing on f7 after the knight captured, yeah, so very, very complicated game here, guys. Thank you guys all for participating and watching and learning something and getting some information so that you can improve on your chess games, okay, online. And again, for my youths that are going to get registered for Academy Play on Lee Chess, get registered and we can get the ball rolling as soon as possible, and a lot of exciting stuff to come. If you guys are very excited about playing chess and advancing in your chess career, now is the time to start learning how to play at a high level, so you guys can compete and get where you need to be in your career. Okay, guys, so queen to f3 was played here, and this is it. We finished with white's terminated now with queen to g3. Now let's go back to this fatal moment here in the game, guys. We'll spend about like 5 more minutes here. This is a 15-minute video. Virtual analysis, guys, brought to you by your instructor and operator. So remember we mentioned g3. Now what was the best move for white? Obviously now, okay, it's saying now that actually knight to d6, so the engine had a little bit of time here, and now it's saying that this is actually not the best move in the position. This is actually kind of like an exclam / question mark, right? So again, if we go for the goodies here now, right? If we go for what's supposed to be played, right? It's just tripling up now on the f file, right? It's tripling up on the f file. So now, if knight decides to capture rook, right? Then rook is rook is capturing. There's a check here. Well, the king is actually safe and sound on h7 square, and black has all his pieces involved here. And now if something obviously like g3, now this isn't going to work. Everything is protected, and the check is also coming again. So we went through a couple variations here now, what would have been best for white. And this still actually doesn't look that good for white, by the way. I think I could still, I mean, I know the second rook is obviously coming soon, but if black is in time here, right, and things kind of work out, okay, if you take with the pawn here, and then pawn takes, and then now where's the bishop going? I think there's a mating net here somewhere, actually. Let's see what the best move recommended by the engine is here. Okay. And, yeah, there's actually, well, we want to go for checkmate here. So if this is played now, and find a check now for white, guys. Is there a check anywhere? Is there a check? No, there are no available checks, so... yeah, white's not really recommended to play anything here. I guess there's maybe no real good moves. Pushing the pawn is not recommended. What are we supposed to do with the queen? Nothing. Yeah, the mate is actually still coming, so I'm just looking for the best continuation in this. Okay, so king moves over. That makes sense. And then I think king h2 is the best, or queen h2 is the best move. And then, yeah, this is obviously just losing for black in this position. So yeah, thank you guys all for watching. And a lot of complications here in this modern King's Indian defense. Much more material to come later in the future, guys. Thank you for following along and participating as always. And don't forget, if you're one of our youths that would like to register, and you have been playing chess for a while now, and you are ready for online tournament play, don't forget U.S. Virgin Islands Youth Chess Academy. And we will see everyone on the other side. Take care now, and bye-bye. See everyone later on the other side. Okay, guys, take care.